In this video, I want to go over what nail pops are and how to fix them, both permanently and temporarily. You might recognize nail pops as the small raises in your drywall. These are actually nails that secure the drywall whenever your house was constructed. These go straight into the studs. Over time, because they're just nails, the wood expands and contracts as a result of moisture and heat changes, and the nails just slowly work their way out until they push past the tape that is over them and will eventually crack the paint. Like this one right here is starting to crack the paint already. The tools you need to fix nail pops depend on whether you want a permanent or a temporary solution. For either method, you will need a drill and some drywall screws. For a permanent fix, you will need some sort of flat surface. I'm just using a spackle knife, a pry bar of some sort that will pry the nails out. A utility knife is helpful to cut out the drywall around the nail. For the temporary solution, which will last several years, is a nail punch and a hammer. The first method I'm going to show you is the temporary method. This will last several years, and this simply involves getting your nail punch and hammering the nails back into place. Now that they are driven back into place, I'm going to get the end of my spackle knife on a rounded edge right here and just smooth out the end, because hammering them in like that caused the edges of the hole to expand outward, so I'm going to flatten them back out. Now they're just small craters in the drywall. Next step, get your spackle or drywall mud and just fill them like you normally would any hole in drywall. I'm going to let this dry and it'll shrink slightly, and then I'm going to put on another layer of spackle. While the spackle is drying, I'm going to get my drywall screw and put one on either side of these holes. The depth in which you drive these screws is important. You want it to sit just slightly below flush, but not too deep. To make sure they are sitting below flush, get a flat surface. Your spackle knife will work, and just drag it across. You shouldn't feel anything. You should feel that they're just barely beneath the surface. I'm also going to cover the top of these screws with spackle or drywall mud. Now that this is dried, I'm going to quickly sand it. I'm going to put one last light layer over the holes. Now I'm going to let this dry. Now that it's dry, I'm going to sand it one last time, and you are done. Now it is ready to paint. This method is the permanent method. We'll be removing the nails completely. I'm going to start out by getting my knife and cutting around. Then I'm going to get the pry bar, and on this sharp edge, just dig it out. Looks like in this example, they drove one nail right on top of another, so this is going to be especially difficult. I'm going to try to come in from this angle and get this nail out first. So get the flat surface, put it right here, and this edge of your pry bar will rest on it so it doesn't damage the drywall. It'll distribute the load along the entire surface of this piece. So it looks like I'm underneath both nails, so both nails will be coming out at the same time. So now just pry them out. Here are both nails. Next step, smooth out the damage you just caused. Now get your spackle and fill the hole. Now that I've covered the hole, I'm going to let it dry and then apply another layer after this shrinks a tiny bit. While that's drying, I'm going to get my drywall screw and drill it in right above it. I'm also going to fill in the screw head right here. Now that the spackle or drywall mud has dried, I'm going to scrape it slightly. We'll do a quick sand. And then put a light coat of spackle over this. Now I'm going to let it dry. Now that's dry, I'm going to sand it one last time, and you are ready to paint. This video showed you both a temporary and a permanent solution to fixing nail pops. If this was helpful for you, please like and subscribe.